President, please be seated. The court is back in session and the floor is given to the Deputy Co-Prosecutor to put question to this witness. Please wait. Co-Prosecutor, you may now proceed, Mr. Kope.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honours. We have a request. We would like to make some oral submissions either at the end of this afternoon or tomorrow morning before we continue with this witness, or at the end of her testimony in relation to the very recent disclosure of new statements that was notified to us 2 or 3 hours ago, and also in relation to the upcoming hearings at the Supreme Court chamber. I leave it to your wisdom as to what would be the appropriate moment, but I just would like to inform you that we have that request.
Can I just ask a question for clarification? This has nothing to do with this witness. No.
President, the chamber grant your request and you can make oral submission at the end of today's, before the end of the day. You may now proceed, Deputy International Co-Prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me just update you on where we are. We will finish our questioning at 2 o'clock today. The civil parties hope to finish in 40 minutes. It is possible. They tell me that they may need an additional 15 minutes. I hope that that won't be a problem since we have today and tomorrow to finish the witness. I'd rather that we just proceed until see if we finish by the break rather than deliberate on this now. But I wanted to alert you to that. Madam Witness. I have one follow-up regarding what you told us this morning about the 1st January dam. You told us that there were some occasions where you would spend the night and sleep at the 1st January dam worksite. My question to you is, on those occasions, did your husband sleep at the same place as you? And if not, where was it that your husband would stay on those nights?
Answer. At that time, my husband did not come to stay with me. We stayed in different places at that time, even in the same work site.
The last subject I want to cover with you today concerns the purge of the Central or Old North Zone. We talked earlier today about one of the party cadres who served with your husband on the North Zone Committee, Toll, the Secretary of Sector 42, who was the one who appointed you to the Chamkarlu District Committee. Can you please tell the court what happened to Toll during the Khmer Rouge regime?
Answer. I did not know what happened to him at that time.
Was Toll arrested, or did he disappear at some point in 1977?
Answer. I did not know whether he was arrested or he disappeared. I did not know when he was arrested and what happened to him.
For the record, Your Honors, document E3/2956 is a prisoner list from S21 titled List of Persons from the North Zone. Number 42 on that list is Chan Mol alias Tol, Sector 42 Chairman, who entered S21 on the 19th of February 1977. Madam Witness, were there other cadres from the old North Zone who also disappeared in 1977?
Answer. It seems that I do not recall it. I do not recall the cadres from those central and north zones.
Let me see if I can refresh your recollection, Madam Witness. I realize that you are unable to read, so I will just describe for you that there are documents from S21 that record the arrest and execution of hundreds of cadres from your zone in 1977. E3/2956, the list I just mentioned that includes Toll, identifies a total of 94 North Zone cadres, mostly people from the zone, sector, and district level, who were arrested and sent to S21 between mid-February and the end of March 1977. And document E3/3861 is an S21 execution list titled List of Prisoners Smashed on 8 July 1977, North Zone. It identifies 173 prisoners from your zone who were killed at S21 on a single day, the 8th of July 1977. Madam Witness, did you not notice in 1977 that virtually every North Zone cadre at the zone and sector and district level disappeared and was replaced by people from the Southwest Zone?
President, please hold on, Madam Witness. You may now proceed, Mr. Kope.
Thank you, Mr. President. I object to the word disappeared. That word is being used all the time, sometimes appropriately, sometimes inappropriately. The prosecution has just read out a list of arrests and an alleged list of executions. Hence, these people didn't disappear. So I would like the prosecution to rephrase the question and not use that word disappear.
I'm happy to rephrase, Mr. President. Madam Witness, were you not aware in 1977 that virtually every single cadre at the zone, sector, and district level was taken away, killed, and replaced by people from the Southwest Zone?
Answer. I may not have known. I noticed people were gone, but I did not know where they were going to. I knew only Tol, and for the rest, I have no idea.
Let me read to you what a couple of people close to you had to say about this. In OCIJ interview E3 375, E3/375, English ERN 003607552, Khmer 003487991, French 003699114. The in-law that we talked about of yours, Ban or Pos, who served with you on the Chamkar-Lu District Committee, testified as follows, quote, "After purges were conducted at the Central Zone, only 4 main people survived: Kapok, Ing Cham, Un, and me. All others were smashed. Su Sun, my older sibling-in-law and Kapok's wife, was the committee of Chamkar-Lu District." End of quote. And this is what your husband had to say in his interview, E3 2782 and 2783, ERN English 00089-713 through 714, Khmer 00095-552, French 00596-211. I quote your husband, "In June 1977, the first stage of capturing was over. By that time, only me remained, and the Central Zone had no cadres left. The Upper Brothers decided to transfer cadres from the Southwest Zone to fill the unoccupied positions. They sent about 200 cadres from that zone." End of quote. Madam Witness, do you remember the arrival of cadres from the Southwest Zone who came to take over and replace the old North Zone cadres?
Answer: I could not recall it.
Do you know how your husband felt about the old North Zone cadres being purged and replaced by cadres from the Southwest?
Answer: I do not really understand about that. As I said, he had a different business to do, and I had my own.
Well, let's talk about someone that was in your district, Madam Witness. Number 6803 on the OCP revised S21 prisoner list. This is document E3/342 at 00329-891. Number 6803 on that list is a person named Nun Run, alias Tieng, who is identified as the Chamkar-Lu District Secretary and Sector 42 Deputy Secretary, who entered S21 on the 1st of October 1977. Do you remember a cadre named Tieng who served as Chamkar-Lu District Secretary?
Answer: I heard of the name Tieng, but I have never met him or her personally.
Was this person not the secretary of Chamkarlu district?
Answer. When I was a member in that district committee, I never noticed that name. Perhaps I may have forgotten. I knew only Ban and 3 others, but I could not also recall the name of the 3 individuals.
Let me try a few other names from Chamkarlu district, Madam Witness. The S21 list I mentioned earlier, E3/2956, numbers 70, 71, and 72 on E3/2956 are all cadres from Chamkarlu district who were sent to S21 in March 1977. The 3 names I will read for you: Mak Hieng, Eng Hor alias Sin, and Sok Pal alias Sem. Did you know any of those people, Madam Witness?
Answer. I only knew the individual by the name Saim, and for the rest, I do not know them.
What happened to Saim in...
President, please wait. Co-prosecutor, you may now proceed, Mr. Kope.
A remark in regards to the previous question about tin. I cannot reproduce it right now, but we have information that he might have been a cadre in Tangkok district rather than in Chamkarlu district.
Mr. President, I'm not going to respond to that. There are other sources. We can have this discussion and debate at another time. Sem, you mentioned that you knew Sem. Can you tell us what happened to Sem in March 1977?
Answer. I did not know the reason why he parted from the place where I worked with him. That is what I recalled at that time.
Madam Witness, do you know whether it was your husband, the zone secretary, who decided to arrest the North Zone cadres, or whether it was the party leaders in Phnom Penh who made that decision? Are you able to tell us that? Who was responsible for making decisions about the arrests of the cadres?
Answer. Allow me to inform the court that I do not have the full graph of the information. My husband had different tasks to perform, and I had my own to do. I have no idea about his business and tasks. What he was doing at that time, it was under his responsibility, and as for me, I was his wife, and I did not know, and I was not involved in the arrest or any kind of things.
Let me read to you what your husband had to say on this subject. Again, this is from E3 2782 and 2783. ERN references Khmer 000955552, English 000897113, and French 00596-211. This is what your husband said in his interview, quote, "When I was conducting an assembly in Region 41, a messenger from Phnom Penh arrived, telling me to get prepared for inspection mission in various locations. However, as I arrived in Phnom Penh, I met Pol Pot and Brother Noon Chea. They showed me documents of all regions and ministries. Furthermore, the answer was too clear to correct." Continuing below. "I said, it is difficult to say because all comrades are life and death friends. However, if Angkar has decided already, I do not have any complaint. Some soldiers served me since 1968, but they were accused of being CIAs. I did not know what to do except telling them I just put them forward for the higher level, upper brothers." End of quote. Madam Witness, I realize this is a difficult subject to discuss. However, you were a member of a district committee. Your husband was the zone secretary. Your brother was the sector chairman. Did your husband ever talk to you about his meeting with Pol Pot and Noon Chea and the instructions he received about the arrests and purge of cadres in the North Zone?
Answer. I repeatedly told the court that my husband would know his business and I minded only my own business. So I did not know about his contact or relation with Angkar Le.
Thank you, Madam Witness. My national colleague just has a few questions for you to follow up.
Co-prosecutor, good afternoon, Mr. President, parties, everyone in and around the courtroom. My name is Sein Liang. I am the deputy co-prosecutor of the national side. Due to the time, I have several questions to put to you, Madam Witness. This morning, you stated that you selected and chose people from cooperatives in order to send them to work at the 1st January dam site. You stated this at around 10:36 minutes. I would like to seek your clarification on this matter. Could you elaborate on the selection of people to work at the 1st January dam site? How did you select people? Answer. I chose and selected people from cooperatives to work at the 1st January dam site. I was not I did not personally selected and chose the people. The Songkat chiefs were the ones who selected people from their Songkats. Co-prosecutor, could you clarify for the court whether Songkat was the same as a commune? Answer. In the previous time, it was called Songkat, and now we call commune. The Songkat was the one who was in charge of their own people. Co-prosecutor, could you tell the court how many Songkats were there in Chamkala district? Answer. I do not remember how many Songkats were there in the Chamkala district because it has been a long time ago. I was about 40 or 50 years old at that time, so I could not recall it. Co-prosecutor, thank you. About selecting people, how many people were selected from each Sangkat? Answer. People were selected first from the cooperatives, and the list was held by the district committee. For example, one Sangkat may have selected 20 to 30 people from the cooperatives. I was not the one who held the list, and as I stated, I was illiterate, I could not read and write, I was not the one who held that list. Question. You stated also this morning that you were in charge of leading people and bringing them to work at the 1st January dam site. Could you clarify for the court on this matter? Were you at the 1st January dam site constantly with the workers? Answer. I was not there constantly with people, but I went there once in a while to visit my workers. I was not there constantly or always with the workers. Sometimes I would go to visit my workers for 1 or 2 days, and after that I would return back to my place.
Question. If you didn't go to the work site frequently, did you assign any of your immediate subordinates to regularly stay with the workers at the 1st January dam work site? Answer. For the forces from the cooperative, they will be under the supervision of the cooperative chief. Likewise, people or workers from the commune will be under the supervision and management of the commune chief. For me, I didn't go there to have a direct supervision over those workers at the work site. Question. If you did not go there regularly, what happened if each of the commune chief had to make a report Did they have to make a report directly to you or to someone else? Answer. For the reporting process, they made it through the district chief. For instance, on the number of workers at the work site, as they already had a list with them. Question: did you ever receive any report dealing with the working conditions at the first January Dam work site from any of your subordinates? Answer: they had their own respective chiefs, and they would make such a report through the commune chiefs, and each commune chief would be responsible to deal with those issues. And if I were to receive such a report directly, I would instruct the relevant commune chief to deal with those issues, or to give them the what they needed in terms of tools or food. However, usually there was sufficient, as ONCA provided them with enough material. Question: in the case that you received a report on the difficulty or the difficult situation at the work site, what did you do with the report? Did you have to make a further report to the upper level? Answer: once I received such a report, I discussed the matter with the district committee, and the district committee then reported to the sector. Question: and when you received a work plan from the upper level, did you have to, how you disseminated such information to the cooperative workforces at the first January Dam work site? Answer: on the issue of work plan from the upper level, the district committee held a meeting and sent relevant workforces to the first January Dam work site. And frankly speaking, the district itself or myself did not remain directly to supervise or to lead the workers at the first January Dam work site, as we also had to lead people to work at various other other dams and canals at various other work sites for the district. And I usually supervise such a workforce. So I did not really have a detailed knowledge on the condition at the first January Dam work site. Question: in the interest of time, I have my last question to you. You were the one responsible for sending workers to the first January Dam work site. What kind of tools and equipment you provided to them? Answer: I didn't send any tools or equipment, as there were sufficient tools and equipment, including hoes, axes, and earth-carrying baskets at the work site. I only organized the workforces to go there, and they had to be self-sufficient with the tools and equipment. Question: so from what you said, those workers only utilize hose and axes for the construction of the dam. Am I correct in saying so? And they didn't have any access to other equipment or tools? Answer. The workers at the first general dam work site only had their personal strength with axes, with hoes, carrying a pole and baskets and knives. And if they had sufficient food, then they had the strength to carry the dirt. Deputy Co-Prosecutor, thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any more questions. I'd like to hand the floor to the lead co-lawyers for civil parties. President, thank you. The Chamber now hands the floor to the lead co-lawyers for civil parties to put questions to this witness. You may proceed, Counsel.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone. Before giving the floor to my colleague Chedvani, may I inform you, Mr. President, that would like to be given 20 additional minutes in order for us to be able to put all the questions we would like to put to the witness. It's already 2:10 now, and that is the motion that we are making, and I now give the floor to my colleague.
President, yes, the Chamber allows that, and the assigned counsel, you have the floor. Counsel Chibanli, good afternoon, Mr. President, Your Honors, and everyone in the courtroom, and good afternoon, Madam Su Soon. My name is Chibanli. I'm a lawyer for civil parties. This morning, you testified and clarified some points before this court. However, I have some additional points that I seek your clarification. You are the wife of Kai Pok, who was a zone secretary. And besides his role as a zone secretary, did your husband hold any other positions? Answer. Regarding his duties at the zone, his other main task was to lead workers to work at the first January dam work site, and that's about all. Question. This morning you testified that sometimes you came to Phnom Penh to visit your husband. Did your husband have any specific role or function in Phnom Penh? Answer. I did not say that I came to visit my husband in Phnom Penh. That is from my recollection. And there was no requirement for my husband to stay or to be stationed in Phnom Penh, as his work involved mainly at the central zone at the time. Question. This morning you said that you came to Phnom Penh and you made Pol Pot. Did you meet him in a personal capacity, or was it a formal meeting where you had to meet him to receive instruction? Answer. I did not come to Phnom Penh for a personal reason, only when I was called by uncle to come. Then I came. It was all related to my work, and it's not a personal affair. Question. You said that it was all related to work. What kind of work can you tell us? Answer. For instance, I was called by Onka to attend the meeting to receive the work plan for various districts and communes. And I did not go there alone. There were thousands of similar capacity to attend the meeting, to receive instructions regarding work plan and work distribution for each district, commune, or cooperative respectively. And what we had to do to resolve the issues with the people, that was the kind of work I referred to. Question. As a wife of Kai Po, were you aware who were his superiors? Answer. I only knew that Pol Pot, Noon Chia, and Khieu Samphan. Besides them, I do not know who else. Question. Did you know how he communicates with the upper level? For example, via his personal messenger or via telegram? Answer. At that time, telegram was not used to my knowledge, and the communication went through his messenger. The messenger would go between Kampong Cham and Phnom Penh to relay messages. And of course, at that time, there was no telephone or mobile phone. And landline phone was used only when there was such explicit instruction from the upper Onka. Otherwise, messenger was a common form of communication. Question. Besides attending the meetings, what other means of communication that your husband did in order to report to his upper echelon? Answer. I did not know the details of his work or the process of any other communication. Question. I'd like now to touch upon the first January Dam website. Does the name Sao ring a bell to you? Answer. No, it doesn't ring a bell. Question. What about Cham and Sukha? Answer. I know Cham, as we used to stay together. He was his messenger. And I cannot recall the name of the other person. Counsel, it's Sukha. Answer, I cannot recall who Sukha is. I forgot about this name. Question. Can you tell the court who was responsible for the construction of the dam? Was it Cham, or was it Sukha, or was it another person? Answer. For such detail, I did not have a full grasp. I only know that the first January dam was organized by Onka. Question. Please tell us, if you can, why the dam was so called the first January dam, and what was the purpose of its construction? Answer. Through my understanding, the first January dam was organized by Onka for the purpose of blocking the water for the irrigational purposes for the people living in the area, stretching to Barai area. That is all I understand about its purpose. Question. Can you also tell the chamber whether you were present on the day of its opening inauguration ceremony? Answer. I was there attending the inauguration ceremony. Question. How was the ceremony organized? For instance, was a speech given, and who were the dignitaries in that inauguration ceremony? Answer. It has been a long time, and I cannot recall the details. I cannot recall who made the speeches at the time. Question. Could you please try to recall at least the names of senior leaders who were present there on that day, that is attending the inauguration? Answer. I only recall my husband, and I cannot recall the rest since I have a bad memory these days. Of course, there were senior leaders, and there were also cadres at my level, but most of them have died. Questioned. What was the process of the inauguration, that is from your personal observation? Answer. I was there, but I cannot give you any detailed description of the entire process. Question. This morning you testified that you went to the first January dam work site, and a while ago, in response to the co-prosecutor question, you said that you also visited the first January dam work site. My question to you is the following. During your trip or your visit to the work site, and allow me to add that workers there, as you said this morning, slept on a proper floor, and the food was sufficient. And you also made your comment on the sanitation, that there were no proper latrines and there were flies as people relieved themselves in the open. Can you tell the chamber the total numbers of the workers at the work site? Answer. As I stated this morning, at the first General Dam work site, workers slept on a floor. It was not a kind of a proper floor made from bamboo, but the floor was made from small trees or branches of trees. And through my estimation, there were between 20 to 30,000 workers working in total at the first General Dam work site. And probably that is a very modest estimation. There could be up to 40,000 workers. And in terms of sanitation or people relieving themselves, you can make your personal imagination. Even in your family of 3 or 4 members, sometimes sanitation is an issue. And you could imagine when there were 30 or 40,000 workers, so people resorted themselves to relieving themselves in the open, and that was the issue dealing with the sanitation. Question: did you make any observation regarding number of workers who fell ill? Answer: from my observation, there were some people who were ill due to the excessive number of workers at the work site, and due to the sanitary issues and large number of flies. The medicine at the time was merely enough, as we only just came out of the struggle, and we only liberated the country not for long. Question: in terms of workers who were seriously ill, were they treated on the spot or were they referred to another hospital? Answer: for seriously ill workers, they were sent to a hospital for treatment at the Kampong Cham province. There was a state hospital in Kampong Cham. Question: this morning you also testified that in your capacity as a member of the Chamkale district, you sent people or workers to the first General Dam work site. Were those workers composed of both male and female? And can you also tell the court the kind of people you sent? For example, were they regular force, or were they old people or younger youth? Answer: as for the forces we sent to the work site, I already said this morning, it was the cooperative chief and the commune chiefs who recruited those workers. They were the regular force workers, meaning that they were at the range of age between 20 to 30 years old. However, sometimes there were also younger people around the age of 18. People older than that would remain at the cooperative. Question: regarding tools and equipment, and you said this morning that the ANCA supplied the workers with those tools and equipment. What about food? Did ANCA resolve the food issue, or did you yourself at the district level make your own decision in terms of food distribution? And what about clothing? Answer: As for clothing, it was the state who distributed it, and people had sufficient clothes to wear. They at least have one set or two sets of, sometimes 3 sets of clothes. And Angka had a responsibility to assist with the food supply. But I cannot tell you the details of how it was organized. Question. As for the workers who were sent to work at the work site, was there a mechanism for rotation? For example, 50 workers were sent there, and later on another group of 50 workers would sent to replace them. Answer. Yes, there was a rotation process. For example, workers had to work there for a limited number of months, then they were replaced. For instance, workers at the age of around 18 or 20 years old will be replaced after a certain period of a month working there, and then they will be transferred to work at another work site dealing with dam or canal construction at the district level. Question. This morning you also testified that at that work site people disappeared, including both the best people and the 17 April people. What about the workers that you sent from your district? Was there any disappearance amongst those workers? Answer. There were disappearances of both best people and 17 April people, and when I asked about their disappearance, I was told that they were sent for re-education. Questioned. And did those whom you were told that they were sent for re-education ever returned? Answer. They were sent for re-education, and some of them returned, while others were said to be sent to live in another district. Question. While you were at the work site, what was your observation regarding the general situation of the worker? For example, were the workers enthusiastic in doing the work? For example, were they smiling while they were working? And what was their health condition? Answer. They were neither skinny nor fat, as they were provided sometimes with cooked rice or gruel, as food supply was sent from Tonle Sap. But you cannot compare the food condition to the food we are eating these days. They were also given some dessert, and there were also dry fish for them. And that was my observation when I went to the work site. Of course, I cannot describe every aspect of the food condition at the work site. Question. And while again you were at the work site, did you observe any use of heavy machineries to aid in the workforce? Answer. As I said, I did not stay regularly at the work site. However, there were no heavy machineries, namely a tractor used. Only human strength and workforce was used to carry the dirt, and only later on heavy machineries were involved. Question: can you also tell the court in terms of the working hours? When did it start and when did it stop, and were there any resting times in between? Answer: in the morning, sometimes they ate some food. However, sometimes they had to start working early, and since we did not have a watch, I could not say exactly what time they started working, and I might say it maybe around 7 o'clock in the morning, and they stopped around 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Question: after you completed work, was there any livelihood meeting in the respective units? Answer: it appears that there was no livelihood meeting. I could not recall it. After they completed the work, they went back to their places. I could not recall it because it has been a long time ago. As I stated, I have had a weak memory so far. Perhaps after the meetings, workers went back home, went back to their places. Counsel: thank you, Madam Witness. I would like to seek your clarification concerning the plan of work or work quota. What was the work quota? How what is the work quota, and how much land was required for one worker to do? Answer: I do not have the full graph of information. I do not know whether the land was measured by cubic meters and then it was assigned to workers. I do not know how much soil was required for workers to do. Counsel: thank you, Madam Witness. I would like to move on to another topic. Before I do that, I would like to read the statement EON 0034 8832 in French 0036 7808. You stated, at that time, I saw pagoda was turned into a hospital and monks were disrobed and forced to leave the pagoda. Why did Khmer Rouge eliminate the religion, and where did monks go? Answer: I was in the forest at that time. I had not been living in the district yet. I do not recall when it was. When I arrived, I saw that the pagoda had no more monks. Monks had already been disrobed, and I do not know either where monks were sent to. As I stated, I was living in the forest at that time. I had not been living in the district yet. Counsel: thank you very much, Madam Witness. For the interest of the time, I would like now to seek the floor for the international colleagues. President, thank you. You may now proceed. International lead co-lawyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Mary Guiraud, and I am the lawyer representing the collective of civil parties in this trial. I have a few brief questions, a brief follow-up questions to put to you with regard to the 1 January dam, and then I'll have a few questions with regard to marriages during the Democratic Kampuchea regime. With regard to the workers on the 1 January dam site, you explained to my colleague a little earlier on the rotation system, and you said that it was the commune chiefs who would choose the workers who would go to the work sites. And then after a few months, these workers would come back to be assigned to other tasks. So I wanted to know if at times workers could come back outside of these rotation cycles. Did you see back then workers coming back to the village outside of the rotation cycles that you described a little bit earlier on this afternoon?
Answer. There was a replacement, and there were candidate or reserve workers to replace those who had been working at the 1st January dam site. And those who were removed from the 1st January dam site were sent to build the dam at Chamkale district.
So if I understood you well, the people who were taken off of the 1 January dam site went to work on another work site. Did I understand you clearly?
Answer, yes. They were sent to Chamkale to build dam, dig canals, so that we could have a feeding canal to bring water into the field.
Thank you. Would people who would become ill, would they go back to the village or would they be sent to the hospital?
Answer, I do not know about it. For the sick in my district, they were sent to a hospital. I do not know about the sick at the 1st January dam site. I do not know where they were sent to.
And back then, when you were at the district, did you sometimes see sick people who were at the work site and who would return to the different villages or communes of your district? Is this something that you remember?
Answer, what I remember that sick people at the 1st January dam site were referred to the hospitals, and after they recovered, they would be sent back to the cooperative or work sites.
Thank you. The reason I'm asking you this question is that we heard a little earlier on this week a civil party who had worked for 3 months on the 1 January dam and who came from Prek Prosot district, which is a district that's different from yours, and she explained that people who were ill would go back to their villages to rest. In any case, that's what was told to the workers. So if I understand what you're saying today, in your districts, people would not go back to their villages to rest, but were sent to the hospital. Did I understand you correctly?
Answer, yes. And for those who were seriously ill, they were referred to Kampong Jam Hospital, and after they recovered, they would be back at work in the cooperatives. This is my recollection. President, thank you. It is now convenient time for the break, but before we take the break, I would like to ask Mr. Kope whether he would like to submit orally in relation to your request. And I do not know how much time you would need for making your oral submission. We would like to be informed so that we could arrange a short portion of time for your submission.
I suppose it's only, Mr. President, a few minutes. It's just expressing our concern in respect of the latest disclosure, specifically the upcoming segment, the Kampong Chhnang Airport. And I see that this particular prosecutor is in the courtroom, so I'm sure that he'll be able to answer all kinds of questions. But I think 5 minutes should be enough.
President, thank you. Once again, it is now convenient time for the short break, and the chamber will take the break from now until 3 p.m. Court officers, please facilitate a proper place for this witness and TBO staff during the break time, and please invite them back to the courtroom at 3 p.m. The